It wouldn't let me update the title. Okay, I need to edit the title. It would not let me update the title. Okay. Live build Q&A Vortex Occultist. And let me go to Twitch real quick, fix that. All right, let me fix this. Edit title. Live build Q&A. Oh, thanks for thanks for the Prime subscription. Thank you so much. Oh, Sampai from the Discord, cool. Okay, so for those of you watching the VOD on YouTube, basically plans for today for the guide is I'm gonna be updating the leveling notes to be more new player friendly. I'm gonna add a loot filter just for leveling, or I might just link Tai Killer's general spellcaster filter that someone pointed out on the Discord. I need to see if it has energy shield life hybrid items in it. But and I'm gonna add a few early mapping tips to the Google document. But okay, so the first few tips that I want to talk about for playing this build is going to be sorry, there's my roommate's yelling so loud right now. But basically, if you haven't seen the Google document, there is a trigger socketed spell nerf on a wand. On the wand, sorry, my roommate is yelling so loud right now. Okay, so on the Google document, there is some notes about the trigger socketed spell nerf for the wand, the Syndicate Benchcraft. So the trigger nerf, in my opinion, isn't going to be a big deal. There is going to be some downtime on elemental equilibrium because of it, but it might not be big enough for me to even care. But if I want to do some serious bossing, like if you want to do Uber Elder or Guardians with Guardian's Aid, I might recommend Selfcasting. Well, there's a number of ways you could do this. You could self-cast Stormbrand linked to Hex Touch, linked to 1 or 2 curses, depending on if you're running 2 curses, which you do in the low life setup. But you could also just put Stormbrand in a unset ring and just self-cast a Stormbrand on the boss, like once every 6 to 8 seconds. So that is one way to deal with that. And instead of Stormbrand in the wand, you would just put like a Tempest Shield. Now, if you are a newer player, yeah, I have my noise, yeah, Senpai, I have my noise reduction turned to the maximum. Hey Sobek, how's it going? Good evening. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions about the guide, this is just going to be a Q&A before the league start, if anyone has any questions at the end. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over. Hey Nick. Oh yeah, if you're a newer player and you don't think that you're going to get the trigger socketed spell craft quickly, then I would definitely recommend putting, let's see. Hey Nick, thanks for the resubscription. I think you're the first person to resubscribe. Cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you so much. Because I haven't streamed for like a month. Hey, thank you, Wiz. Thank you. I appreciate it. I did not honestly expect the video to get so much traction. It was not actually made. I did not make it for, like, I don't mean to sound like, I don't know what it would sound like, but it was not meant to be for, like, new players. It was, I had a lot of people in Ritual asking what build I played to farm up a lot of currency, and so I just made, like, a guide. I didn't go over, like, any of the mechanics of the build, really. But a lot of new players said that they found it really helpful. So I'm glad that actually new players did have found it pretty helpful. So as a result of new players liking the guide, I am probably going to be, yeah, I'm going to be updating the leveling sections and stuff. The POB boat notes. I did not make the path of building notes. I am going to be editing the path of building notes. So if the path of building notes say I get a 4-link in Act 1, then I do need to edit that, because I did, like I said in the video, I copy-pasted Clydehart. He seems to have a pretty good leveling setup. Hey, thank you for the subscription, Graham. Yeah, I'm looking at the leveling set. It does look pretty good. So leveling section trade links. Yeah, I do have a lot of trade links in the Google Doc. That is for early mapping though, so I could add some. I don't think you need to do any trading while leveling though. I don't think you should have to trade literally at all. Oh, you've been watching since the Harbinger farm? Yeah, that was my very first video. Well, the first video that I ever like talked. So it wasn't, I did not put much yeah, I've started putting a lot of more work into the guide since then, because I realized that I did not explain much from the with the Harbinger video. Hey, thank you, Hekitao. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. So I'm checking out this leveling guide that Clydehart has. I will probably mess with it a little bit. Okay. Hey, thank you for the follow, Frozen. Okay. So I think for new players, it may be confusing in his leveling guide, because he does say use Orb of Storms in parallel to Stormblast Mine, but people may not realize that you should stand in the Orb of Storms and detonate your mines. Sorry, which of the cold occultist builds has the black hole frostbolt effect? That would be Celestial Frostbolt for the Spellslinger build. Yeah. Hey, thank you for the follow, Junkie. Yeah, that is the Spellslinger build. So if you want to just play the build just for that, which that's totally reasonable, is really cool looking, you'll definitely want to play Spellslinger. But yeah, I don't have a Spellslinger guide. Spellslinger is basically, it's literally almost the exact same tree as my low life build and the path of building, but all you are changing is skill gems, pretty much. For CI, it is a little bit different because I think you need to run more mana reservation. I think the mid-game CI tree has a pretty good Spellslinger. Like, you could follow that for Spellslinger, but I would definitely just recommend following Clyde Hart's guide in the Google document, and because he has an end game, he has an early game and a end game Spellslinger setup for the build. Is this a Twitch or a YouTube mainstream? I'm going to be streaming, multi-streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. I do need to actually, let me add a, oh shoot. Oops. All right. Sorry, I had a, oh yeah, chat box. Okay. I know it may be kind of awkward if you want to see chat for YouTube, but you're on Twitch. But I do use both chats, yes. I use Twitch and YouTube chats. You guys can let me know, would you want a multi-stream chat box on the stream? Like, it will have both people from YouTube and Twitch. Their comments will pop up. Yeah, I'm using it, Sampai. I just turned it on. I have not messed with my Twitch for a month or something. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do that before leagues start. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, you can ask anything. I just started the stream for build Q&A. Yeah, sorry. I will keep that on because I know people prefer Twitch, but some people do not like the ads that Twitch has, because when I signed up to be an affiliate on Twitch, I pretty much gave up my right for ads. So they will play ads whenever they want. What's the difference between your build and Shaq's? Okay, so Shaq, I have been keeping up with his update. It looks like the last thing I saw, Shaq added 2 large cluster jewels, 4 medium cluster jewels, and it uses a thread of hope. I don't know if that's for his end game. I mean, obviously that's a pretty end game setup, but my build is much more early game oriented. We do not, the main setup that I use, the low life no cluster, is the main setup that I use for a very long time. And my preferred way for playing Vortex is the tanky low life setup in my path of building, which I would imagine is very different from how a lot of people build Vortex, but I prefer that playstyle because it is extremely tanky. Like last league in Ritual, I was doing like 60 to 80% Delirious maps deathless with the tanky low life setup. 100% Delirium was okay, except for the fact that Kosis was awful. So, but I don't think 100% Delirious mapping is going to be super common anyway this league. I don't know if we will see much of it at all. Simulacrum farming, profitable? Yeah, it really depends on how expensive simulacrums are. I am definitely going to test simulacrum farming again, because if I want to, like, at night watch, okay, so stun and freeze. Hey, Karya, so we are completely freeze and stun immune. Their stun and freeze has absolutely no effect on this build. You don't have to build for it. You don't have to have a flask for freeze. We are, by default, as Occultist, we are immune to stun and immune to freeze. And once we switch to low life, we are immune to stun from presence of Chiula. So yeah, you never have to worry about that. Hey Raph, it's been a while. Hey, thank you for the subscription. Thank you. Yeah, simulacrums, I'm definitely gonna have to do a test because there is a lot of guessing that goes with simulacrum profitability. I'm just gonna have to buy like 5 to 10 simulacrums week 1 or week 2 and just run them and just see what the results are. Shaper Elder is my Netflix farm. Yeah, Vortex is such a relaxed playstyle for doing pretty mid tier content, I'd say, like simulacrum farming and Shaper and Elder and stuff. Would I say the build is noob friendly? If you follow the mid game CI path of building, I would say that is probably very new player friendly. I think compared to 90% of builds in this game, this build is very noob friendly. Does playing the build get me all the women? I am married, so take what you will with that info. Now, if I go to my YouTube statistics, 99.9% of my audience is male though. So also that is some info that you can take with that what you will. But I think that just comes from playing Path of Exile. So. But, yeah, you're probably right, Nick. She does watch all my videos. Is there a question I missed? But yeah, this build is super good for Netflix farming. By Netflix farming, I mean you can actually just turn off your brain and just run around in maps, just holding down your Vortex key, or like running it like literally for Simulacrum until I get to wave 19 or 20 Kosis. I actually just hold down Vortex and run in circles. I just stare at, I just watch anime or whatever on my other monitor, and I just run in circles, killing everything. Also for like Elder and Shaper, Uber Elder, you actually do have to pay attention. That you cannot just look away for Uber Elder. But it's really hard to get one shot on Uber Elder with this build. It's really good. I do like. Usually Uber Elder is something I try to do like day 2 or day 3. It's probably gonna be Shavs is probably gonna be super expensive. So I don't know how doable low life is day 2 or day 3. Left click Vortex. Okay, yeah, Geth. I do not like to left click my Vortex. I totally understand if people like to left click Vortex. But I really am really annoyed when I am in my hideout just running to my stash or anything. Vortex is just dropping all over the ground, and I don't like turning that off every time I go into my hideout. But I also just prefer dropping vortexes when I feel like dropping them. I hold down my R key. My R key is used for vortex, and I just hold it down when I'm mapping usually. But R is very comfortable for me because I've been using it for like World of Warcraft for so long. Can you reduce the vortex cooldown? Yes, but it is not that helpful because vortexes, the damage does not stack with vortexes. Only one vortex is going to be doing damage if I'm correct. So you want to be cold snapping, and like as long as you have a vortex going out as soon as your vortex is starting to expire, that is all you really need. But for mapping, for mapping though, it is nice to have vortex cooldown because when you're running through the map, just dropping vortexes as fast as possible. Won't Shavs drop easier with the drop change? Yeah, it might actually. If Shavs, but I thought Shavs was already on the normal drop pool because I have gotten a Shavs to drop an SSF just as a normal map drop. So Rev, you will usually use no cluster jewels before transitioning. Yeah, Rev, I usually don't use cluster jewels at all with this build, but cluster jewels are definitely an option. You can get an extra like 500 to 600k DPS with a cluster jewel setup. And there is actually a very good cluster jewel for just defensive wise. That is, sorry, I will get to the rest of the questions. That is Brush with Death. If you don't want to run anything but just a medium cluster jewel, a cluster jewel with Brush with Death is very strong because it's like a mini Cinder Swallow flask that is on at all times. So Brush with Death is very strong. How would this compare to a Vol Cold Slapping? You want to use Vol Cold Snap. Vol Cold Snap is buffed. Is extremely buff. So Vol Cold Snap is going to be extremely powerful. Hey Orpheus, Noob Friendly. Yeah, I mean, Path of Exile is a complicated game, so it's hard to say. And sorry, Junkie, I will answer your question in just a minute. But this build, okay, so Path of Exile, it is a complicated game, so it's hard for me to say what exactly is noob friendly. I do see a lot of new player guides out there on YouTube that have a lot of complicated mechanics with them. So maybe I would say this is pretty new player friendly. I mean, you can literally run the build with all rares if you want and no cluster jewels, but there are some mechanics that may not be considered new player friendly because this build does use elemental equilibrium, and like Arain, I'm sorry, asked before Trigger Wand, I'll have to manually cast Orb of Storms. Yes, you can. I honestly don't really notice a damage issue. Like, I usually don't have to pick up Elemental Equilibrium until like tier 10 or tier 11, tier 12 maps. So, if you do notice a damage problem, if for some reason you do run into a damage issue and you have not picked up Elemental Equilibrium or your Trigger Wand, you can activate Elemental Equilibrium and then start manually casting Orb of Storms. Yes. So in the Path of Building, there is a optional link for Orb of Storms linked to Hex Touch, linked to Frostbite. And so that is what you can use until you get your Trigger Wand, or even when you get your Trigger Wand, if the uptime is very low, because technically it did get nerfed in patch notes, you can just keep self-casting Orb of Storms. Yes. 21-23 Vol Cold Snap will be difficult. I've never used 21-23 Vol Cold Snap. I think just the Vol effect on 20 is more than enough, and now it's going to be even more than enough. So, how rough is the melee range for Vortex on fights like Maven and Cyrus? Okay, so Maven, I haven't had any issues. So Maven's debuff can be very annoying. But we are going to have Vol Discipline up like almost all the time, I think, on unique bosses, at least when you need it. So Vol Discipline is going to regen your energy shield all the way up to the top without ever stopping until it gets to the top almost. I think it lasts for a certain number of seconds, but it is more than enough time. But for Cyrus, yes, Cyrus is annoying for phase 1 and 2. So when his companion is up in the air and is shooting down like meteors, you do need to look out because your Vortex is going to cover up the ground effect. So I have died a couple of times each league. At least once or twice, I will die to Cyrus's little companion up in the sky, firing a meteor down on the ground because I just don't see it because Vortex covers it up. But other than that, Cyrus has never really given me an issue. But yeah, so that is something to look out for. Maven is pretty easy. I haven't had any problems with Maven as long as you don't get hit by her debuff. Okay, yeah, Vincent. So basically elemental equilibrium. The issue is I did some research. I had this originally in the Google document for triggering elemental equilibrium. I was going to have lightning damage on my wand or a jewel. But the issue is that apparently elemental damage hit all the elemental types hit at the same time. So when your vortex goes out, it's going to hit with cold damage, and it's going to hit with the fire. Like your example, you were going to hit with fire damage, and you're also going to hit with cold damage at the exact same time. So the monster is going to gain resistance to cold and to fire, but it's going to reduce its lightning resistance. So basically, I don't think lightning, because if you didn't know, Vortex has a hit. It has an initial hit. The dot is not a hit, but the initial vortex that goes out on the ground, that will hit the enemy with a very small amount of cold damage, which will trigger elemental equilibrium, which is why we have to have like Stormbrand or Orb of Storms ticking on the boss at all times. Hey, thank you for the follow. Let me go back to Junkie's question, if Junkie's still here. Cookie cutter mage skeleton build. I have not seen that build, but this build does work with stuff just picking up off the ground. If you're playing solo Selffound, like I've never played it solo Selffound though, so I do like to buy a Rhyme Gaze, and I do like to buy a Rainbow Stride, and I like to buy a Baited Breath. Now those items are like 1 chaos each. So, but if you're playing solo Selffound, item price doesn't matter. It matters how rare the item is. So if you're playing solo Selffound and that build just uses rares and it looks comfortable to you, I would just do it. But Vortex Occultist is perfectly usable with just some rare items. But yeah, so I'm still going to use a trigger wand for my elemental equilibrium unless it feels really bad. If for some reason, which I don't think there's going to be that much downtime, because basically Orb of Storms is going to go out. It's going to last for, okay, this is assuming the boss doesn't move much though. If the boss moves, I don't know if Orb of Storms will keep like how far the range is. But so when are you posting a starter POB? If you go to the main path of building, the mid-game CI should be a pretty good starter POB. Now, if you mean just early mapping, like right when you get out of the axe, the leveling path of building has an early mapping POB in there, just for Life's ES hybrid. And it also has the main path of building has a all rare item SSF budget set up for level 80 and 81. And I also included a mid-game CI path of building, which has a little bit of a higher budget, but it's not much. Cousin Jack wears green hat. Hey, what's up? So Vafa, have you looked at the path of buildings recently? I did add a mid-game CI path of building, which should be super budget. Let me go ahead and pull it up again, if I can find it on the Google Doc. So path of building, copy. Found it my Google Doc for very pertinent for progression. Cool. Yeah, I did want to include that because I know my guide itself, the YouTube video, is not very new player friendly. The build is very new player friendly, but the guide is, my video itself, I know is not the most new player friendly video. But I'm hoping my path of buildings and the Google Docs are helpful to people. You should stream on Twitch. Hey Alexander, I actually For all of the league, I'm going to be multi-streaming on Twitch as well as YouTube at the same time. So whatever people prefer, if you want to watch this build progress all the way to endgame and like do a bunch of endgame content, I'll be multi-streaming on Twitch as well as YouTube. Can you post a POB build code? Okay. Oh, can you post a POB build code? Okay, yeah, sure. Are you okay? Can you message me on Twitch? Can you just private message me the POB build code? Orpheus, are you going to stream the League Start with this build? Yes, I am going to be playing like 12 hours a day or something with this build. I am aiming for T16s by day 2. And then I'm going to be doing probably my league strategy, whatever it's going to be, like day 3 or something. Let me get my path of building code for chat. I think this is, was this YouTube? Okay, Vappa, yeah, you wanted it on YouTube, one sec. Hey, thank you for the Twitch follow. Alright, that's going to be the main path of building. The most confusing part is the notes. Yeah, I apologize for that. I am definitely not a great teacher for brand new players to the game, or even like kind of beginner players. The build was actually posted for people that were more experienced, that were wanting to more info on my like what I league start with. So I did not actually I did not consider the fact that a lot of new players might be jumping onto this build or watching my guide. But I can definitely testify the build itself is very new player friendly, but my guide itself may not be very new player friendly. You are in between Golemancer, Stone, or Vortex. Okay, so Golemancer is going to be more expensive to start off. If you are an experienced player, there's probably no problem with going Golemancer. But if you're a newer player, you might hit a wall because you are going to need to get those primordial jewels. Because those primordial jewels will be a little bit expensive to get. Like day 1, day 2, day 3, stuff like that. Yeah, I might actually, yeah, Cousin Jack, I might actually, oh, thank you, JP. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for the resub. Did you see the last version of Shaq Central's build? I clicked on his Reddit post and I noticed he uses, I think his audience of Vortex players are very, I don't know how to say it. They like to play Vortex past League Start. Well, yeah, there are beginner for Shaq, but like I've noticed a lot of the people in the forum comments for Shaq Central, they like to push Vortex, like they like to min-max Vortex. And so his latest version of Vortex has like 2 large cluster jewels, 4 medium cluster jewels, and I think some smalls, which I do not like to push Vortex to the end game. Or not end game, sorry. I don't mean that, guys. I don't like to push Vortex past like week 1 or 2. Or week 2, sorry, I'm really mixing it up. I like Vortex because it, on a budget, because I'm going to be honest, I want to get a headhunter as fast as possible. So Vortex is very nice for me because I can stop putting money into the build at like 15 exalts. Like I can completely finish the build at like 15, 16, 17 exalts, and then every single bit of money I earn after that can go towards making my headhunter. So I am not the kind of like my path of buildings, like they don't really push Vortex that hard. as hard as Shaq Central's guide does. Uh, but there are a lot of players in Shaq Central's forum that they like to push Vortex to like 12 million DPS, which is very expensive. But if you really like Vortex, then that is definitely somewhere to go. If you want to play Vortex deep into the league, yeah, yeah, so I'm going to be transitioning into Winter Orb Occultist. I'm not making a new character. I'm not doing anything. I am legit just my Occultist. I am changing like 20 of the passive points. I am putting on a Headhunter, and then I am buying the gear to play Winter Orb Occultist. So, because Winter Orb Occultist is one of the strongest builds I've ever played in this game. It is an insane build. I was doing the Feared, 100% Fractured Delirious in 12 minutes and looting the map in 12 minutes. I was doing Guardian's Aid farming, Uber Elder. I was even doing magic finding with it. Like, you can't run like super high magic find with Winter Orb Occultist, but you can run like 70 to 80%. But it's pretty good. So that's the next build. The problem is that Explodey Chest is nerfed. And that's kind of it, I think. Explodey Chest is nerfed. And it's going to be harder to get elusive on boots. So that might be kind of rough. But yeah, that's for a totally separate video. I'm not going to be transitioning to Winter Orb until I get like a Badge of the Brotherhood as well as Void Beacons. That's for super later. But for the first 2 weeks, or the first week of the league at least, I'm going to be getting Vortex to the end game and try to farm up a few hundred exalts. And that's going to be the first 2 weeks of the league for me. And then I can start thinking about the next build. But yeah, if you guys want to know some of my thoughts for mapping strategies, I did just post a new video. It's going to go over all of the ideas that I was thinking about for mapping. If you want just like basically what I know is going to be a lot of money, it's going to be playing a miner like Path of Math. He has a Blazing Salvo miner league starter. You can play that and just do bossing week 1, and that's going to be a ton of money. Does the Cold Slinger have faster clear than Selfcast? Yes, August. Cold Slinger is like 20 to 30% faster, I'd say, than Selfcast. But I am not going to be playing Cold Slinger because Selfcast is probably going to be the best way to survive in Ultimatum. If you want to guaranteed hit like the very high rewards in Ultimatum without dying, I think Selfcast Vortex is the safest way to do that. Because you not only, late game, we're going to have Aspect of the Spider as well as Temporal Chains, Blasphemy. So basically in Ultimatums, they're not going to be able to do anything. So like when we're running around in circles in the Ultimatum, their action speed is going to be like nothing. So Vortex, plus like we're going to be using Vol Cold Snap like almost on cooldown. So yeah, it's going to be, I think Ultimatum content's going to be a joke for this build. Do you plan to leave Ultimatum until maps? If I probably will not mess with Ultimatum while leveling. I might a little bit, because there is a possibility of getting like a like tabula. And if you can get a tabula from an Ultimatum, that is, I mean, obviously you probably can. There's absolutely no way you can't get a tabula from an Ultimatum. That's just like a league tradition that they always add tabula to the leveling rewards. But I might probably after Act 3, because the build doesn't feel awesome until like you switch to Spellslinger. So Vincent, the low life cluster version. Let me check that low life cluster version. I don't always do the cluster version. The cluster version is insane DPS, but yeah, so that cluster jewel is very expensive. I don't know how expensive it's going to be because it has blast freeze. Because blast freeze is crazy good because freezes you inflict spread to other enemies within 12 yards, within a radius of 12, never mind. So that cluster jewel specifically might be very expensive. I might choose a different cluster jewel if I want to be more budget. Hey, thank you. I can't pronounce Russian. I can't read Russian, but thank you so much for your message. Thank you. I hope oh, you helped me with your league. I helped you with your league starter. Cool. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Imagine a Shavs from Ultimatum. Yeah, that would be the dream, Geth. That would be the dream. But yeah, Vincent, it just depends. If I'm making just an absurd amount of money early on, I might buy a cluster because technically it might be more efficient if I do get that DPS increase from the cluster jewel. But you do sacrifice some tankiness, I think, if you take a cluster jewel setup. Yeah, Arain, sorry if I'm butchering your name. I stopped doing rituals completely. His name is It's Panda in Russian? Okay. Don't be rude, read the Russian guy's name. It's Panda Dude. Okay, just Panda Dude, okay. Okay, thank you, Panda. What's up, Ace? F.E. Boomkin? Is this a World of Warcraft? Is this someone from my World of Warcraft guild? I don't even know. But, Vortex is looking super strong. So, really, it's just, Vol. I am really excited to play Vol. Okay, in general, it's the league mechanic. Ultimatum looks really strong for Vortex, as well as, Vol Cold Snap is going to be extremely strong. Okay, well, Ace said he was gonna do something to the channel. I don't remember what it was. This was forever ago. I think I got worried. What is your day one strategy? Yeah, Cousin Jack, I'm probably gonna... I'm gonna do whatever. Day one is to do whatever it takes to sustain my Atlas progression. So, there are costs that come with pushing your Atlas to the max. Like, I'm not going 32 Watchstones, probably. Is 32 Awakener 8, Cousin Jack? I don't push for Awakener 8. I'm going to stop at 6, and then I'm just going to do my mapping strategy, and then fill in the rest of the Watchstones with people doing Maven invitations. That's probably what I'll do. But yeah, I'm probably not going to go for Awakener 8. I will probably just fill in the rest of my Watchstones with Maven invitation Watchstones. 2 to 3 million DPS. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Now, Vortex 2 to 3 million DPS is very different from a normal build's 2 to 3 million DPS because Vortex Occultist DPS is the uptime is extremely high. Like, there is almost zero downtime to Vortex Occultist DPS because you will just drop a Vortex on Cyrus and run away in circles or just run in circles around him. You are, like, for builds that are like melee, some builds you have to be on top of Cyrus actually hitting him to even do 2 to 3 million DPS. So really your DPS is like 500k for like a close range melee build. But for Vortex, you just drop a Vortex on top of him and you're doing your max DPS from the start. As long as you're proccing Elemental Equilibrium. Is the Winter Orb Occultist even worth pivoting? Now, that's the thing, is that Winter Orb already has Herald of Ice. So Winter Orb already has tons of shatter potential. Plus, there's Profane Bloom if I want to just use Profane Bloom. So Profane Bloom, Herald of Ice, and then Explodey Chest was really just a plus. Now, if so, the Explodey Chest nerf is not really necessary. Like, the build doesn't rely on Explodey Chest, it just helps. How is Vortex to kill Guardians and Shaper early? So Guardians, very easy. But if you are wanting to do Guardians Aid, you need to probably be low life. Guardians Aid, I did a lot. Like, I think in Ritual, day 3 of Ritual League, on my Vortex Occultist, I made 85 exalts from Guardians Aid farming. But it was low life. So, and it was slow. No, I don't think I went low life actually. But if you want to do it efficiently, because it was pretty slow, I think you want to be low life before you even consider Guardians Aid farming. But for Guardians themselves and Shaper farming, I would still recommend switching to low life first. You can do it with CI, but I don't think it will be super efficient because it will be a little bit slow if you're not low life. Any advice for someone who has never been able to get a CI or low life build to work? I guess it depends what you've struggled with. If it's been defensives or if it's been like damage or something like that. I think there's a lot of ways that people could struggle with that type of build. Hey, are you live on YouTube? Yes, scored. Sorry, I am live on YouTube. I'm just doing a Q&A for a little bit longer just to answer anyone's questions before leagues start. Defenses. So, yeah, so this build has a lot more defense than an average low-life build. You may have played low-life Miner in the past. That mainly uses all of its auras for damage, or all of its reservation for damage. But I've only gotten to low life near the end of the league. It's definitely way more expensive in the first month of the league to go low life. Not really first month, like first week or two, because shavs are going to be incredibly expensive. Do I have a POB for Vortex? Yeah, so God of Trool, if you check my Vortex Occultist guide on YouTube, I do have a path of building in the description. Apu, I normally go from hybrid to budget to low life. Medium CI is for people that don't really have the budget to go to shavs, that don't really are like newer players that don't really know how to make a ton of money early on. I would recommend going medium CI, like my mid-game CI build. But for me, I'm probably going hybrid budget. Might go semi-budget, semi-mid-game, and then straight to shavs. Target farming shavs possible? Yeah, Philip. So you can go to tower and kill the last boss in tower over and over, and you have a chance of getting Shavron's Wrappings Divination cards. That is one way to farm shavs, but it is a very slow way to farm shavs. It's more of a solo self-found way to do it. Sorry, I think I skipped in the middle of someone's question. Do you think essence farming and Haywork will be good for a non-bossing build? Yeah, it depends. I think since essences are buffed, they could be high value this league, and so Haywork looks pretty juicy, especially since in Haywork you can farm Syndicate as well as essences. So you could be doing both at the same time. You could be getting Katarinas, like 3 Katarinas a day or something, as well as essences at the same time. Am I practicing tomorrow? Scordo, I'm probably going to do a little bit of practice tonight and then just sleep until league start, because I'm probably going to do a 24-hour stream. I'm not sure, though. Vincent, what league mechanics do you plan to do? There's a lot that I'm considering. I've never really done Heist, so I might be farming Heist because they have made Heist very farmable this league. If you guys didn't know, one of the Xana map crafts is a Heist craft, so it's gonna be pretty good. Yeah, so Geth, I'm probably gonna blow all of my Alva missions as well. Whenever I get them, I'm probably gonna put them into Glenac. Because farming Glenac for Alva to make temples is probably going to be extremely strong. Thank you for the follows, guys. Easy currency farming strat. Yeah, so easy currency farming strats this league. I don't know if anything will ever be as easy as Valdo's Ritual Leagues, Valdo's Rest Harbingers. Alcan Go. What could you Alcan Go this league? I don't know. There's a I don't know. That is a good question. Because I'm not normally an Alcan Go person, and Valdo's everyone is saying the King Harbinger in Valdo's Rest is not the Beachhead King. So that completely ruins that method if the King Harbinger is not a Beachhead King. Alcan Go. Yeah, you're right. Cousin Jack is right. You could Alcan Go Haywork and get passive rituals, because you will see rituals semi-often in Haywork. Not super often, but there are Watchstones that you could, there are 3 new Watchstone passives apparently. They're probably on the mod database. Maybe they increase your chances of getting a ritual per map. Because if you miss, you don't DPS with Vortex. So your Vortex should be pretty big, but if you... Yeah, I think rituals are going to be better this league, especially if you use blood-filled vials. The problem is getting blood-filled vials, but if you prioritize splinters, ritual splinters, then you could farm up a decent amount of blood-filled vials. The one-side cooldown is kind of intimidating because if I miss, I don't DPS. If you have struggled with missing vortexes, I would probably do Spellslinger because you drop like 30 vortexes in like 5 seconds with Spellslinger Occultist. That is Spellslinger, Cold Slinger, that kind of build. Clydehart has a guide on that. It's in the Google Doc. But yeah, Spellslinger, there's no possible way that you can miss vortexes with Spellslinger. But I've never really had that issue because our vortexes have some decent AoE. What's your recommendation for endgame farming? I don't know, Philip. I do know that there is one farm I know is going to be good throughout the entire league, and that's going to be Guardian's Aid. If you did not play Ritual, I do have a guide for Guardian's Aid, like what that's about, on my channel. It is called Bossing is Still Incredible Profit. And that's a bit of the idea. That is going to be strong throughout the entire league, I think. Print my code. It is really up to just what you want to do. Leveling is really not a problem for this build at all. So it's really whatever you want to do. Tai Tai is obviously an expert when it comes to the axe. So if you just want to do what he does and go straight into Selfcast Vortex, you could do that. How is Selfcast Vortex for fighting Cyrus? I've never had problems with Cyrus 8 and 9. That is, Cyrus is very, very easy content. Although when I do Cyrus 8 or 9, I am usually low life at that point. So low life really just melts Cyrus. How long do you think it'll take you to finish Act 10? I don't know, Vincent. I haven't practiced this build in 3 months. or 2 months, because I haven't played it since last league start. And I'm usually not a very fast leveler. It takes me usually like 6 to 7 hours to get to maps. So I probably should practice. I'm super lazy when it comes to leveling. So I am sorry if I am not the best leveler. But I usually just play the game a lot to make up for that. Do you think Shavs will be more expensive, sought out? I've heard a lot of people say Shavs is going to be very expensive this league. So that is something to keep in mind. How do you feel about the new Blight changes? I'm really looking forward to Lyra Arthane because of the Blight mechanic there. I think Blight maps are going to have a lot of value. Never heard of Guardian's Aid? Hey, I have this open right here actually. So guys, Guardian's Aid. If you want to know how to make a lot of money day 2 of the league, do not play Vortex Occultist day 2. If you want to make the absolute most amount of mirrors in 1 week, you want to get to this point with a miner. Path of Math has a build up, and you want to just farm Guardian maps. You want to make about 5 to 10 exalts the first day of the league. Day 2, you want to just spend all of your money on Guardian maps in bulk from like TFT Discord and just farm Guardians, farm Shaper, farm Elder, farm Uber Elder, and farm Maven's 4-way invitations. That is how I guarantee if you watch Path of Math on Twitch, or Path of Matt, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, I guarantee he's going to be doing this like day 2 of the league. I feel like everyone is. They removed delirious mapping, so this is pretty much the end game, to be honest. They did not nerf this at all. They did not touch this entire passive tree, except they buffed it. They buffed neural pathways. So yeah, Guardian's Aid farming is going to be nuts. I am really surprised that they kind of kept that in the game. But yeah, so if you want to make just like 10 mirrors week 1, just make a miner. Delirious will still be very good. Yeah, I'll have to see. I'll definitely be keeping up with until end game build. Not until like day 3, I'd say, fueled. You want low life. Usually you want to put about 15 exalts into the build before you can do Guardian's Aid farming, which if you're like an experienced player, if you play a lot of Path of Exile, 15 exalts is something you can get day 1, or day 1, day 2 easily. But for a newer player, but for miners, like a Blazing Salvo miner, you just need like a Trimmer Rod and a Tabula, and you can just farm Guardians. Yeah, sure, Stag. Let me go to my Twitch DMs. Whoa, that is a big build code. Is that for... Oh, do you have the paste bin, Stag? Could you level with Stormblast mines until Act 3? Yeah, I mean, you can't get a Spellslinger until Act 3 anyway. So yeah, you could just wait till Act... you could do Stormblast mines until Act 3 with Orb of Storms, that's fine. I've done that multiple times. But yeah, Stag, do you have a paste bin code for that path of building? Wicked Ward. Yeah, Wicked Ward is insanely strong. This build is not a ES regen build. Magic Find. So if you've never played Magic Find, I'm probably gonna make a video on that. But that is a build that usually uses a Wind Ripper and Headhunter, as well as multiple items that increase the quantity of items found. And usually those builds are made for farming divination cards, farming currency, farming like unique items. How do you unlock Uncharted Realms? Yeah, you'll have to complete. I think it's Maven. You don't have to, but you get You can get 12 passive points for the Uncharted Realms. You can get 2 from Maven, as well as 2 from all of the boss invites. Yeah. Yeah, I think Vortex Occultist is really fun to do Delve with. So I'm probably actually going to touch Delve a bit, Cousin Jack. I think I might, for the first time in like 4 leagues, actually do, or 3 leagues, do Delve. No, Fueled, I would not league start a Wind Ripper build. I would not do that. You want a build that can clear the entire Atlas like week 1 with like almost no money put in, which is definitely one of them. I'm not saying like you have to, but like Vortex Occultist is the build for me when it comes to that. That is why I play Vortex Occultist all the time. Well, I don't think Delve. Early Delve got buffed, and I don't think fractured fossils were ever found in early delving. So people are going to be doing Delve because GGG has said the early rewards are buffed. So yeah, one thing you could do if you guys want to try Delve, while also mapping, Lex Proxima is not changing much at all. Besides the harvest stuff, it's going to be different. I'm actually not going to go over it. I don't want to confuse anyone, but if you want to know some of my thoughts on Lex Proxima, you can go to my latest video. I do go over Lex Proxima a bit. So I will have some information about Lex Proxima and why I think it'll be pretty good for early mapping. Or not early map, sorry. I need to watch my words when I'm talking to newer players. When I say early mapping, I don't mean out of the axe. I mean, like, I just got to T16's early mapping. Like, day 2 early mapping is what I'm talking about. Will you still be going Guardian's Aid? Yes. I will be joining all of the miners and trappers doing Guardian's Aid, but I will be doing it probably day 3 or day 4. I do not think that I will be able to get a 6-link Shavs, a 6-link Shavron's Wrappings until like day 3 or day 4, depending on the price. So, and I am not going to, it is extremely inefficient for me to probably do Guardian's Aid with CI. What do you plan on doing after Cold Slinger and Mines? So after, if you're talking about after leveling, Philip, I switched to Selfcast Vortex, so I actually use Vortex, the spell. Are you league starting solo? I was going to do a group, but we ended up deciding to just play solo. So that's why I'm league starting as Vortex Occultist, because I'm playing solo this league. My friend and I are probably going to help each other out, but we're not going to be grouping together. Fractured Tower is still a thing? I don't know. Unless someone finds a big brain way to do fractured mapping on a budget without much time investment to create the maps, then I have no clue. I would love fractured mapping to still be a thing. That was really fun to do. Play like Jay, Owasabi. Double defensive curse with Heretic's Veil. I think I watched a little bit of his video. I think his video is a hardcore solo self-found variant, I think, isn't it? Running 5-way emblems. I would not do 5 ways with this build. Legion content is a little bit off limits with this build, not because of damage, but because we can't really just like clear legions very easily. How hard is the feared with self-cast Vortex? Yeah, the feared is not content that we're going to be doing. You need like a big budget self-cast Vortex to do the feared. I almost did the feared on like a 30 exalt budget, but you are fighting all 5 of the bosses at once. So it is a nightmare. You need like a lot of money put into the build for that. I didn't put this in my guide, but the biggest power spike, like one of the absolute biggest power spikes for Vortex Occultist, is a Watcher's Eye with 44% to damage over time multiplier while affected by Malevolence. That is an extreme power spike, but it is incredibly expensive. Sorry, I don't know why that's YouTube subscriptions. Legion is quite annoying. Yeah, that's fueled by Fury. That is why in the Google document I put that Legion is pretty bad for us. Legions are fine, like to do while mapping, but you have to just choose the priority targets. If you want to do Legions really easily on your build, you probably want to play Essence Drain Contagion. Is fossils the way to craft wands? Maybe. I've never fossil crafted one of my wands, though. I usually just buy it. I would imagine with a frigid fossil, you could hit a decent wand. I don't know the cost investment for that, though. Yeah, so if you want to, frigid solo spam. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. Fracture +1 wand. Okay. Swap into self. Okay, Shoddy, you can't actually self curse anymore. They removed that from the game. So I think if you want to run 5 ways, you'll have to do like a normal headhunter build. Unless there's like a really big brain way that people are going to be self cursing, I don't think it's possible anymore. You could get hexproof from a rare mod on enemies. Oh, yeah, but they made the Occultist. If you're talking about Occultist, they made it so you are not your enemy now. Like how it says your hexes affect hexproof enemies. I think they made it so Occultist can no longer, like, you are not counted as an enemy anymore. Hey Weeb, so Legions with Vortex, this is not a Legion farming build. You can... Okay, so with Vol Cold Snap being buffed, Legions might actually be pretty good, to be honest. There's a ring with Blasphemy which says the curse affects you. Okay, yeah. I mean, there might be some... Self-curse... Okay, I won't. Yeah, no one tell GGG then. Yeah, I mean, if it's still a thing, it's still a thing. Just no one tell GGG. But... I mean, if that's a thing, Q Dog's probably going to be playing it week 1. Legion with Vortex. Okay, so Legions might be okay with Vortex, to be honest, because Vol Cold Snap is extremely powerful now. So if you save your Vol Cold Snap and then you pop the Legion and use Vol Cold Snap, it might just completely obliterate the entire Legion if you just run in a circle. But I don't know. So yeah, the self-cast Vortex Occultist, we're gonna be using Vol Cold Snap, and it's gonna be crazy good. Like, I'm so excited for tomorrow. I think Vortex Occultist, I am literally just excited because of Vol Cold Snap, and ultimatums are gonna be amazing. Because I think the Vol Cold Snap's gonna, like, did you guys see the AoE buff to it? I think it's gonna fill up the entire ultimatum. But good starter build for tomorrow. Yep, I'm gonna be starting this build tomorrow. I haven't practiced at all. I'm just gonna play it like I normally play it, which is usually like get into yellows or so day 1, get into reds T16s day 2 or day 3, and that's just go from there. But I don't really feel you'll start in as well. Cool. Yeah, if you want to watch, if you want like have any questions while I'm playing, it's a really AFK build, so I'll probably be answering everyone's questions while I'm mapping. Yeah, I really need to practice, honestly. How long do you need for mapping, Scordo? Do you mean like to get to like T16s? With drinks and sushi? Definitely drinks. I don't think I'll be affording any sushi. I have a hefty supply of Hot Pockets and pasta, so I'm good to go. To get to T16s, I'm gonna be. Oh, to get to maps. I'm pretty slow compared to a lot of people. It takes me 6 to 7 hours before I start mapping. But I have never looked up a guide for mapping for leveling, and I've never practiced, so that is my fault. Do I do Chaos Recipe? Yeah, so I fund basically all of my early build through Chaos Recipe. Pretty much almost all of my early money comes from Chaos Recipe. It's an insanely powerful way to make money. And then how long to go from T1 to T16? I've never done the leapfrog strategy, but I am going to be studying Grimrow's leapfrog build guide. And I think there are no walls. Like, if you build this build correctly, you don't hit a single wall all the way to T16. Like, not even switching to low life. But if you switch to low life, like if you get lucky, get a Shavs drop, you will literally hit not a single wall all the way to your final mapping strategy. Do you save this live stream to rewatch? Yeah, it'll be the VOD will be saved to my YouTube channel. Yeah, it'll go in a live stream folder or a live stream playlist. But yeah, there's really not a single. I detailed everything I do in the Google Doc, but when I do that entire Google Doc, I don't run into a single wall. So there is, from start to finish, T1 to T16, there's not a single hold up. There's not any point where I have to actually sit back and farm currency. But if you switch to low life, like if you get lucky and switch to low life, it's just free sailing. You are good to go. There's not a, you will run through everything at the speed of sound. Oh, okay, that's saying a lot for this build. This build is not a speed farmer, but it is a lot of fun. It's my favorite build in the game. If you've seen my past videos, you'll know that I am someone that likes to speed farm, but this is still my favorite build in the game. And that's just because I love Witch, I love being tanky, and I love dot. I love damage over time. Do you have a crafting method for the wands? I think would it be better to stick to the, so Fueled by Fury, that CI level 80-81 is like right when you switch to CI, and then mid-game CI is if you do not have the currency to go. If you don't have the currency to switch to low life, mid-game is pretty good. So I will get to that question in a second, Scordo. Just has bad quality of life. So we are immune to freeze, we are immune to stun, and if you get flasks, You're immune to pretty much every ailment. You just have to pick between like shock and ignite. But the only mod that I can't do is Ellie Reflect. But if you get mana regen, you just put on a mana flask with I think I forget what it's called. The mana flask that doesn't remove at full mana, but that one's fine. Now, slow speed, that is solved pretty well with just, like, I will admit, it's definitely slow enduring. Okay, yeah, enduring mana flask. Slow speed, you need to make sure that you take, okay. You need to, if you want to be speedy, you need to take, where is it? No witnesses. When you get elusive procs, you're going to get bursts of speed. And then, guys, what is the Pantheon? Gosh, I'm so dumb. One sec. Don't act 4. Okay, guys, I actually can't do the Pantheon. Okay, I don't even have the Pantheon unlocked on this account. Okay, so anyway, there's a Pantheon that gets you like 6%, 8% increased movement speed if you haven't been hit recently. That helps your speed. But yeah, I find it pretty fast, honestly. There are trade-offs, obviously. We are not as fast as a ED Contagion Trickster, obviously. But we do more damage than an ED Contagion Trickster single target-wise. Hey, thank you for the subscription, Cousin Jack. Thank you so much. Trigger nerf any effect for this build. It does not affect our damage, but it does affect our quality of life. Yeah, zoom through city. Oh yeah, Toxic Rain. So yeah, Toxic Rain is definitely a lot faster. Okay, Stag. Yeah, thank you so much, Stag. Yeah, so if you want some more speed on Vortex Occultist, Soul of Garukon, whatever it is, and then Elusive Passive Tree, it helps a ton. Yeah, so we definitely are a lot slower than like Toxic Rain, that's for sure. But there's always trade-offs with every build. We trade speed for tankiness, relaxing gameplay, single target damage over a lot of speedy builds. Like Toxic Rain has a lot of issues late game with single target. Like obviously I'm talking about a budget, like very low budget. Toxic Rain is obviously going to get a ton of damage late game. Although I don't know actually with the nerfs. I didn't look much into Toxic Rain nerfs, but I'm pretty sure. Didn't bows and quivers get nerfed pretty hard for Toxic Rain? Oh yeah, Scordo, sorry. Yeah, they ripped the Toxic Rain single target, yeah. The difference between CI. So CI, you're actually on full life. So you have 1 life, and since you're on 1 life, you are full life. But low life, you reserve your life. You have your life, and then you reserve the life, and when it gets below 50% now, that is considered low life. So with CI, you are considered at full life at all times. Yeah, I actually never liked playing bow and quiver for Essence Drain Contagion. I found it so squishy. I actually loved max block Essence Drain Contagion, but that was also super low damage compared to bow and quiver. Hey, thank you so much for the subscription, Kim. The Chemixer. Are you immune to chaos in life? No, you're not immune to chaos, but we take Presence of Chiula. So with Presence of Chiula, we get 60% to our chaos res. And then you need to get chaos resistance on pieces to fix that. But it can be expensive. But yeah, you do. The reason low life is less tanky than CI is because you do take that chaos damage for a while, unless you stack chaos resistance. Does low life trigger by reserving life? Yes, it does. That's what we do. That's the main mechanic of our build. I'm gonna make this bigger for everyone. I think this may be too small for you guys. Let me move over here. What do you think about farming lab enchants early to make money with the Vortex build? I don't think it's efficient. I mean, because Vortex is pretty slow compared to a lab farmer, very slow compared to a optimized lab farmer. So, although I don't know how budget lab farmers are, I've never done that before. So I don't think it's worth doing. Maybe, yeah, it's probably not a good build to do lab. Low life, yeah. So Scordo, my low life tank build is tankier than CI. That is low life tank though. If you go to my path of building, it is incredibly tanky, but it is more expensive than regular low life. Regular low life is very budget. It is literally just 8 Shavs, a Presence of Chiula, and a Prism Guardian. That is, and then you just switch. There is no other gear. Can't believe your channel views haven't come up and recommended before this week. Oh, they're really not. I mean, I did make a lot of niche content before now. I think the majority of my traffic came from Path of Math viewers before this, and Grimro, I think. So I think it was maybe recommended from their videos. But yeah, it is really crazy. I'm really thankful for all the support that I'm getting, though. It really keeps me motivated to maybe do more guides in the future. Although I know this wasn't a very new player-friendly guide, so I do apologize for that. But I did make the Google Doc. I'm trying to make the Google Doc kind of understandable. What Atlas node do you have under your radar for early strats? So, Wasabi, if you check my latest video, I actually go over every region that I'm looking at. Yeah, so ED Contagion did get nerfed with the bow changes. Oh, sorry, did someone ask about Elemental Equilibrium? Okay, so Stag did a really good explanation of how EE works. Copa. Hey, thank you so much, Jordan. Hey, thank you, Wasabi. So Copa, if you notice that your damage is a little bit low and you are in maps, like you are out of the campaign, I would recommend picking up Elemental Equilibrium. Now the way that you would use it without a trigger wand, which if the trigger wand is really that significant of a nerf, then I would just self-cast Stormbrand, basically, and like an unset ring, maybe. That's the first thing that I would do just on bosses. Is just cast a Stormbrand on the boss like every 8 seconds or something. Yeah, you could also use that ring. Hey, thank you so much, Minthukant. I am so sorry if I'm butchering everyone's names. I am just an American with no education. I'm just kidding. But I'm not. I think everyone knows that Americans are pretty bad at pronouncing anything foreign. So I'm sorry for that. I'm trying. The starter and Spectre League start. Yeah, Matt Norwood, if you're still here, yeah, I love Spectres so much. Kay's Spectre guides are amazing. I love Kay's YouTube channel. She makes such fun necromancer guides. So if you guys have never played a K build before, K Spectres. Oh yeah, please don't quiz me on geography. Please don't. If If you guys have never played a K Spectre Summoner, you guys should try K Spectres at least once. It's really, really fun, Spectre builds. Like, if you guys have ever tried, like, Arakali's Fang, I think it is, like, Spectre Spiders, it is hilarious with, like, a Headhunter as well. You can actually make a Headhunter minion build with that. But yeah, that is, that's something I might try this league. Hey, thank you for the follow, Smack. Early boss farming to other league starts. So, Captain Admiral, if you want to be at the top of the 1%ers of the league, you probably want to play a miner and just watch Path of Math on Twitch. I guarantee he's gonna probably do Guardian's Aid farming. That is gonna be where the money is day 1 and day 2. Yeah, Spectres are hard to get to work early league. As someone who has been playing minion builds almost as much as Vortex, minions are harder to get started than Vortex for sure. Do you think you can get decent defenses on a staff life build? I don't know. I have never had fun with a life build. I have been playing CI and low life for a long time because I don't like life builds and I don't like I love shields and I love CI and low life. So yeah, that's just how I am. Okay, I like life builds if I'm a life mana build, like a Kane, like a Kane, a Kane. They make some really good. That is a really fun playstyle. Mana life. Sorry, Sammy. I do need to do some exclamation point commands before tomorrow. Sorry, I will get to that. Fueled by Fury. I need to check if I missed anyone. Bilal, how much exalts do we need for fast farming? For like T16s, as fast as possible, as fast as Vortex can get, probably like 15 exalts. How does this compare in early boss farming to other league starts? So, oh yeah, I think I went over this, Captain. I would play a miner if you're wanting to specifically farm bosses. This build is very good for doing bosses, but I would not say it is efficient for farming bosses. Until you go low life, then it is decent efficiency. BFBB, didn't BFBB get nerfed pretty hard? I think miners are the way to go, right? Miners or trappers. When would it be good to transition from life to CI? When you can get, wow, someone's trying to buy something on standard. Oh man, that's funny. I didn't let me do that. Do you know when you practice, Scordo? I'm going to probably practice at like 12 or 1 a.m. my time, which is like 1 a.m. CST, 2 a.m. EST. This is like American time. Tai Tai said it's BFBB is tier 1 for like bossing. I mean, sure. I've never tried it, so I don't know. I just know miners are usually what people go for extremely budget bossing. Yeah, I'm trying to wake up 1 hour before league start. I'm trying to get absolutely as much sleep as possible because I might be doing 24 hours. I'm not sure. Hey, thank you, Felix. torn between BF, BB, Inquisitor for League Start. Is there a link to the path of building? Yeah, so if you go to my Vortex Occultist League guide, League Start guide on my YouTube, it's my second newest video. It has a path of building in that. Bear 059. What are the benefits to rushing so fast to maps? So I think the most obvious benefit is if you're running T16 maps, you are getting high item level bases. So if you put in, like, let's say Rusted Elder Scarab in a T16 map, and you get like an Elder item level 86 Elder item that is worth a lot of money, that is going to be worth a ton day 2 compared to day 5. But practice in 6 hours. Yeah, I guess 6 hours from now, I'll probably be able to do some practice. How is the build for completing challenges? I've never used this build to complete challenges, but I have seen lots of people say they did all 36 to 40 using this build. And Bear 059, another benefit to rushing maps is you get Atlas bonus really fast, quickly. And yeah, I'm sorry, Stag. Let me put that in. The path of building. Yeah, so this build, I have never done it, guys, so I don't have much info on that. I have never min-maxed for Vortex Occultist, but there are many people that do. I think Shaq Central is one of those people that min-maxes this build. Okay, let me look at this. Wintertide, Creeping Frost. When you start mapping, you recommend going CI immediately or low life? Okay, yeah, you can't go low life immediately. You have to. I do recommend going CI, just collecting energy shield gear and going CI when you can. It's a quad spell cold dot build. Oh, it uses Vortex, Wintertide brand, Creeping Frost, and Vol Cold Snap. Okay. And what content were you looking? Are you just Cyrus 6 through 8? I mean, that cold snap damage is ridiculous. That is some insane cold snap damage. I mean, yeah, that's fine for Cyrus. I would assume Cyrus shouldn't be hard for that kind of build. Do you practice? Sorry if I missed it. Do you practice in 5 hours? Probably six or 7 hours, maybe. I think 6 or 7. I do need to. I'm gonna hang out with my wife a bit because I'm not gonna see her for like 2 days. So I am gonna hang out with my wife for a while, but then before bed I'll probably practice. I don't think I'll get to Act 10, but I will just practice my early league start. You played Aura Carrion Golem, very enjoyable. Yeah, I played a little bit of Aura Stacker Carrion Golem too. Pidge the Pigeon, I think his build was pretty fun. I like Aura Stacker Carrion Golems. Which tree would you follow if you intend to eventually switch to low life tank? If you don't have the currency to go low life, I would do mid game CI. I'm trying to fix my mic. But if you have the currency to go low life, I would go CI 8081. Follow my Google Doc for sure. If you want to, Yeah, Scordo, I'm probably not gonna push that far. I'm actually just probably gonna like play until I get tired and then stop whenever I get tired. And get about 8 hours of sleep before league start. So I might not even be able to finish the maps. I mean, I might not even be able to finish Axe. Is trigger mandatory or just comfort by Devil? Yeah, so trigger is just comfort. If you are noticing that the elemental equilibrium on your trigger wand is not triggering enough, if the downtime for elemental equilibrium is too low, I have put a optional setup in the path of building for self-casting your elemental equilibrium. By the way, why do you go CI instead of following hybrid longer? Because CI has a lot more tankiness. CI is gonna have Wicked Ward, which Wicked Ward, if you stack a lot of faster start to energy shield recharge, I've detailed this in the Google document. If you stack a lot of that, if you stop taking damage for like 0.5 to 1 second, you're just gonna go straight to full energy shield again. It's insanely strong. And then with CI, we are also stun immune. Because of the Witch Ascendancy. CI with Void Beacon, I didn't even really talk about that, no. If you look at Void Beacon on Occultist, it is incredibly strong to be CI with that. Like, Hybrid is okay with that, but it's mainly CI that gets the most benefit from Void Beacon. So looking for a good Titanium Spirit Shield base. Yeah, I'm gonna see how much they are early game. I think Shaper ones are gonna be very expensive. Item level 84 and higher. So we'll have to look out for that. But I like going CI because I like Energy Shield. I've always loved Energy Shield more than life builds. And Occultist has a lot of synergy with Energy Shield. So that's my answer to that. And do I upload the run to Twitch YouTube? It's going to be on YouTube, I think. I have a bricked base in the standard. I think I have a standard base actually. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna try that. Okay, we're not even gonna go into that. Alright guys, I do need to go hang out with my wife a little bit before league start, because I'm not going to see her for a while. But I will be streaming. I will be updating the Google Doc as well as the path of building. And then, do you upload the run to Twitch YouTube? I'm uploading, it'll probably upload on its own to YouTube. But I will, thank you so much guys for tuning in. I hope I cleared up some questions. And I will be streaming. I don't know if I'm doing a 24-hour stream. It depends how hyped I am for this league. But, yep. I will be streaming all of League Start, so if you guys want to play the Vortex Occultist and ask questions while you're playing, yep, I'll see you guys later. See you at League Start. Well, I will be practicing late tonight, but a little bit. I think so. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.